Hey there, and welcome to this video where you'll be seeing me creating another very long drawing. I've already made one of those projects before, and I have a mini-series with the whole process for that on my channel as well if you want to check it out. This is going to be the first video in a mini-series as well, in 3 parts just like the last one, so stay tuned for the next part. For those of you who have already seen it, you'll know that it was a deep hole that I drew, and this time around I'll be doing a deep sea instead, with some reoccurring characters from the last time. As you can hopefully tell, I'm starting at the top of the drawing at a pier. We have one of the characters that appear in the top of the deep hole about to be pushed into the sea by some rather sketchy guys. And this pier doesn't really make much sense, as you'll see as we move further along, because there's going to be about a 200-meter drop to the bottom, and obviously not many docks look like that. I could have made the top of the drawing a boat so that we would be in the middle of the ocean, and that would have made a little more sense. But I really wanted to include the guy being pushed down in his cement shoes to push the story elements from the last drawing a little further. I also really enjoy doing all these little details that you see here, like the mussels on the poles and the little fish and the trash all around, even though trash is not really supposed to be in the ocean. Come on guys, don't throw your trash in the frigging ocean. I actually looked up the 10 most common types of trash that you'll find in the ocean, and I included all of them to add a little more realism into the drawing. The most common type is cigarette butts. Guys, don't throw your frigging cigarette butts in the ocean. Fish will find them and smoke them probably. I'm sorry if my voice is a little dull in this video. I was debating with myself whether or not I wanted to even include this, but as I listened back on the recording, I realized that my energy level sounds very low and I can't really do anything to make it any better. I've been sick for a while, nothing deadly, but I'm in a lot of pain and I'm in and out of hospitals and I'm so sleepy all the time. And that's also the reason why this video is taking so long to finish. That and the fact that I had to edit about 41 hours of screen recordings, so it really has taken a while to finish this whole project. There's a lot of little details to find in this long drawing, and I've been drawing a lot of mermaids as well, which is fun, but I wanted to start out with a manatee dressed as a mermaid, kinda, in a bikini. So here you see me drawing the second mermaid that you actually see in the drawing, but in a minute I'll be going upwards and drawing the manatee in the bikini in the top. I hit upon kind of a weird problem because my characters are already humanoid dolphin-esque creatures, so hopefully it's clear that they can't breathe underwater from my design choices and the context of the whole drawing. I just really didn't want to change my design of the characters because I wanted the 2 projects to fit together. I want to create some continuity in these projects and in the story to sort of make it a small comic altogether with some very long elaborate panels. Now we're getting to the manatees, and the reason why I'm drawing manatees, as many of you probably already know, is that they are likely the supposed mermaids that people have seen over the years. I did some quotation marks around mermaids if you guys couldn't hear. Oh yeah, here we have Magikarp. I felt like I wanted to include a Pokemon. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, but I do love Magikarp. He's so sweet. And here we have a rare sighting of a fresh box of fish sticks with her little babies. And for those of you who watch South Park, you know what that's a reference to. In the previous project I drew a very long worm that went all the way through the drawing, and I wanted to have another element like that in this drawing. I also wanted to include some old-timey sea creatures, so I decided to do a long sea serpent all the way through this drawing. I actually had a whole long list of all kinds of sea creatures and mythology and other things that I wanted to include, and I ended up including a lot of it. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this project, but in the end I had to pick my favorites because a lot of these old sea creatures and mythological beings are very big, and you can't have too many large elements all over the place. They'll end up competing for focus, so I had to pick a few that I really wanted to go with, and I think that I ended up with some good stuff, especially the last one that I ended the drawing with. I think you'll really like when we get to it. As you'll be able to tell when I put some more colors in, this is a very cold water environment. I didn't want to go for the like sunny beach sort of water with coral reef. And since we are in a cold water environment, I'm really sad that I didn't get to draw Turso, which is a Finnish sea monster that looked really cool. It was on my to-do list, but I ended up cutting it because there isn't really a clear definition of what it looks like, so I was afraid that the reference would get lost maybe. And also, it was very big, and as I said before, too many big elements will end up competing for attention, so I had to cut something. I also ended up not doing Atlantis, which I'm sad about. I wanted to do it in the background, but I just couldn't fit it in anywhere where I felt like it really made sense for the whole drawing. And I also wanted to do Godzilla, especially because my name is Penzilla, so you know, would have been really appropriate. But again, too many big elements, can't do them all. I did, however, end up doing this briefcase that you can see me drawing here with a lot of money falling out of it. I figured that it's the mobster guys up at the pier who has thrown it out, but it doesn't really make sense because they want a treasure, and so why would they throw away money? A briefcase full of money? I suppose that it's probably fake money or something like that they have to get rid of, some evidence or something similar. Really, I just wanted to draw a lot of money floating underwater because it looks really cool, and I love doing underwater stuff in general. It's really fun to draw things that are floating because they behave very differently than things on land do. You're not pulled down by gravity, so you can do a lot of freehand details that are just very different from what you would draw on land. And because everything is floating, I'm able to lift up details like hair and such, and compose everything with a lot more ease. You really just have to think about the physics and how things would behave underwater, and then you're able to play around a lot and make very convincing and nice designs, at least in my opinion. Drawing all these clams and mussels that you see here, that took a lot of time, and I almost threw my hand and my wrist out several times doing all the details for this very big project. Later I'll get to making all the jellyfish and all the regular fish and other sea creatures, and I've counted, and there's over 1,000 individual creatures in this drawing. So that took quite a while, and as this proves, there are no copy-pasting anywhere. Everything is made from scratch. Every freaking jellyfish and fish and starfish and what other fish you got. Fish sticks, I guess. So through this whole process, I just kept thinking like, is this ever gonna be done? Am I ever gonna reach the bottom? I knew that I wanted to do at least 200 meters in the drawing because that's when you get to the twilight zone of the ocean, and I wanted to get down where it gets really dark. With the hole, I could decide a little more freely how much light got in there because that depended on the time of day and all sorts of things. But with the ocean, you have a very clear line where here it gets dark, and I really wanted to get down to that goal. Originally, I actually wanted to do like several kilometers, but I quickly realized that that would be too much work. That would simply take too long. And I mean, I don't mind doing this. I love doing this, but I also wanted to publish it at some point. And in theory, I could go on forever. Like, this is a fictitious drawing, so I'm the one who decides where the bottom is, and I could make it deeper than the actual ocean if I wanted to. So I decided on those 200 meters because that's the point where you start to really lose a lot of the daylight that you have. So this is about it for this video, and I'll continue the drawing with some more outline in the next video. I also really wanted to end out on this little guy that you also see in the last project. I wanted to include him in this one as well, but here he's fishing instead of sitting by a campfire. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and stay tuned for part 2. Have a good one. Bye!